Sister Silverine, Ambassador Extraordinaire of PAIN, Parental Alienation Awareness International Network, and we are talking about From Pain to Healing, where we're going to have a series of talks on Sundays from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sankhya TV. Thank you.
Sister Silverine, once again, thank you very much for making time, sitting with me, and having these discussions on this series From Pain to Healing, where we cover parental alienation. This, of course, being a program brought to the viewers by the Parental Alienation Awareness International Network. And today I want to deal specifically with the topic of parental alienation. Now, one of the things that happen in the alienation process is when the ex-partner influences our family members and their family members and friends and the community, neighbors, everyone, even the school where the child goes to. The parent alienates the other from the teachers at the school. Now, let's look a little bit into the person who is the victim. So from the position of the victim, what will they be going through and how they can deal or cope with it?
Nice, very good topic. So since we are dealing with this topic of rejection, let's call it that way. Rejection means that I feel rejected because my ex has said things to my family, his family, and society about me. Sometimes it makes us feel as though we are not wanted, or we are not accepted for whatever reason. But the simple feeling, simple thought of me feeling unwanted or not accepted is actually my own way of seeing an external situation which could or could not be. Maybe it's not like that. Maybe it is. But let us look at ourselves first. How do I know that people reject me? What is their attitude towards me? And that alone will tell how they think about me. But before thinking about how others think about me, have we ever thought about how we think about ourselves? Because who is first? Can you love someone without loving yourself? If you try to love someone without loving yourself, it will be a pretext. A pretext means I am trying to give love to others without even knowing how to love myself. So if I don't know how to love myself, from what source is my love for others coming? It's like there is a saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup, which means you cannot give what you don't have. Now, how this has to relate or is relating to your question, I'll come to it. So it has to do with first the self, me. There are all these people against me, let's say, because this is what I think, or this is what I feel, that my husband or my ex has put all these people against me. That is one issue. But what about me first? How much have I accepted myself? How much do I know myself in order to think about how others know me and how they know me? Because rumors can be spread. False allegations could be spread. And you cannot stop false news from spreading. Anyone can say anything about you. That is their perception. That is their vision of you. But what about your vision about yourself? Because if you know who you are, you know what you are about, you know what you could give and what you have given, and if what others have to say about you is not who you really are, then there is no way that you should feel guilty about what others say about you. Let's say someone will say, okay, Sister Silverine does not know what she is saying, or she does not know what she is about. That is their perception of me, because I understand myself. I know who I am. And because I know who I am, because I know myself, I am working under, let's call it, that perception about myself. So no matter who say what about me, the last one to decide how I am being treated will be me. Why? Because I have my self-respect. I have accepted myself. I am valuing myself for who I am. I appreciate myself for who I am. I love myself for who I am. And if I could love and value and appreciate myself for who I am, and I have my self-respect, then no matter who say what about me on the outside, I internally am not going to be influenced by what others say. Because the only one who should know about themselves first is you. It's me. If someone asks you, who do you love most? What we do normally, we say, well, I love my mother, or I love my father, or I love my husband, my children. A mother will normally love her children the most, normally. But how much love can you give to someone if you don't know how to give that same love to yourself? Because what we do our whole life, we pass our time giving love to mother, father, husband, children, brother, sister, whoever and whoever. And how much love do you give to yourself? So this question about what society think about me will depend on how I think about myself first. Because who should be first? Is it what others say about me? Or should it be how I think about myself? Because if I have my own self-respect, my self-worth, my self-value, this is what others are seeing in me. And if others see me in this way, then no matter who say what about me, it will be difficult to penetrate the ears of someone who sees me differently. So it's not what others see or hear about me, but what I am giving to you, whether it's the society or the family members or friends, whoever. So all in all, my point is that it's not what others say about me, but what I see in myself, what I am, what I stand for. And if you are firm in what you stand for, the values that you have, your own potentials, your own worth, etc., then even society will change their vision towards you. So what you give to others is what you get in return. Now, if you had built a character, a good name, a good behavior, this is what you have been projecting out to people for your whole life. And then suddenly they come and they hear something totally opposite about you. It will be very hard for someone to accept it. I cannot believe it is this person. Why? I have known this person my whole life. And this is the way I knew this person. Now you are telling me something totally opposite, contrary to the person who I know. It is very hard for me to believe. So even though someone may want to spread a rumor about you, and something that is totally against your own values and what you stand for, it will be difficult to accept. But if it is a contrary, which means my kind of values was not the value that is accepted in society from the time I know myself, then what perception, what vision, what image I'm giving to the society, so that if something should happen or if a rumor should spread about me, it will be quickly accepted. In other words, I'm saying that if my nature, my behavior, my way of life was not in accordance to good principles, and I'm sure you know what I mean. The outside type, as we say here in Trinidad. And yes, someone says, well, this one is like that. Then, how can you defy what the society is saying about you when you yourself know that this is the way you have lived? So now you cannot correct that. After you had created that kind of image in society, you have created an image or given the society an image of yourself, of, let's say, anti-values, which means you did not have such a good behavior, nature, and attitude in the society. So how would a society support you, knowing that you were not better than what you're trying to project now? So yes, your word, your name will be flaunted into society, and in turn, whatever comes to you, it will be because of you. Whatever comes to you, it's because of you. It's not because of someone spread your name. No. Because as I mentioned before, someone could spread your name, but because you already have a good image, even though someone is trying to taint your name, it will not reach far because everyone knows who you are. Let's say yourself, Omkar, who is trying to do good in society through your teachings and so on. And then suddenly someone comes and says, well, Omkar is like this, totally contrary to what he's doing. People will not accept it because they know that is not what you stand for. So if you create a good name, a good image, a good perception of yourself towards the people who you know, who you are in contact with, the society, the community, etc., then there is no way anyone could paint a bad picture about you, because you have already painted a good picture about yourself. So facing those kinds of, what do you call it, criticism, or yes, complaints and all of these things about others, it's something that yes, each one of us will have to deal with sooner or later. And it happens to anyone. It could happen to anyone. Not specific, anyone. But who are the people who will normally be criticized and condemned in the society? Those who are in leadership. Not the lesser people. But of course, here we are dealing with people in the day-to-day living and relationships with each other. And we were talking about relationship of husband and wife or spouses. And if the spouse should try to spread a bad image of his other half in a society, so how this other half is going to accept it. So in essence, if you had created, you had projected a good image of yourself to your children, to your in-laws, to your brothers, sisters, your relations, relatives as we say here, and the society and the community, then there is no way you're going to face any kind of retribution for an act that you would have performed. Because let's say someone who have a good image, a good record, good behavior, good values, have for some reason or the other taken a decision that, of course, you'd never expected. Let's say a wife that has good principles and good values and disciplines her children also in a very nice way. For some reason or the other, she had to take a decision to separate from her other half. And the other half knew that she has good values. But in order to paint a bad image of her because she left him, he will have to make up a story. But she had already created in the minds of the people who knew her a very good image of values, of good principles and discipline. So if someone tried to taint her name, it will be difficult to penetrate because everyone knew her to be different. So where is all of this coming from? And let's say someone is trying to destroy your image or defame you. The simple fact of someone trying to defame you, taint your name, paint a bad picture of you in the minds of others, clearly show that this person is suffering. He is going through some other mental or emotional pains or hurts. It means that one needs help. Not the one who has good principles and disciplines and values, but the one who is trying to taint that one's name. That is the one who needs help. It means he needs healing. So this one who has the good values and principles, instead of being hurt, getting hurt, instead of feeling pain and sorrow because he is doing that, understand that that individual is going through some emotional and mental traumas. It means that that individual needs healing, he needs help. And it will take a good-minded person to understand what that other individual is going through. And to understand that he needs healing, he needs help. Because the simple fact of anyone for that matter of fact, has the habit of criticizing, condemning, cursing, and even seeing only negative things in others, simply reflect what that one is going through. It means that individual is hurting inside. That individual is paining. That individual is suffering. The one who constantly criticizes and condemns and compare. All of these things shows that that individual is suffering. So that means that that person needs help. It means he needs to heal himself. And how will he be able to heal himself? Let's say, okay, a a couple in a home going through some tough times, and they're trying to make their relationship work, no matter what it is. So everyone will tell their wife, well, you wake up in the morning and you cook some nice food for him. You do everything to make him happy. So here she is trying her best. She cooks the good food, she washes his clothes, she keeps the house clean and doing everything to make him happy. So he would at least change his habit or his ways, whatever. Because, people, they tell us, well, my husband is an alcoholic and he just drink every day and just come home and quarrel, and every day it's the same thing. Because recently someone called and she was telling us this happened. So what are you going to do in that case? Because you cannot quarrel with someone who is already quarreling. It will not solve the problem. So here we think, okay, I am doing everything for him, my husband. I'm cooking the good food for him. I'm cleaning the house, washing his clothes and making sure he is okay. Now that is on an external basis, on an external level. But if you're waking up in the morning to cook the food for him, and you're thinking, no, he does this every day. Every day he comes home drunk. Every day I have to wake up and I cook food for him to go to work. So one thing is what I am doing physically, externally, but the other is my thoughts towards this individual. The simple fact of thinking that every morning I have to get up and cook for you, and then you will go and drink, come back drunk and quarrel with me, then what am I doing? So if externally I am trying to show that I am doing, but in my mind, in my thoughts, I am not thinking about what that individual is going through and that he needs help. He needs help to heal. He is going through some whatever problem, emotional or mental. See that he needs help, or create such thoughts in your mind about him of, maybe it's as a weakness, something he is going through. I'm sure someday he'll get better, because he was not born like that. He was never like this all the time. He have developed it recently, and I'm sure he can get out of it. Now, simply creating that positive thoughts, pure thoughts about that individual, you are beginning to help him to heal. And that's where his healing starts. But if we are constantly thinking, well, he is always like this, he will not change, then what am I doing to him? Instead of helping, I am making him go down more. So how are we helping each other? So I invite you to sit comfortably wherever you may be, and just take this time to think about yourself. Think about your mental state of mind, your emotional mind. Take a look at what is happening within you. See where you need to heal yourself. And just as I can see that others need healing, in the same way, I may need healing also. And in order to heal myself, I first have to recognize what are my weaknesses, what are my defects. Where I lack power to help someone. And only when I can understand myself, only then will I be able to understand that others need help also. And whilst I reflect on myself, I also think about those who are close to me, the ones I love, the one who I'm trying to keep a relationship going. If my spouse needs help, then I am the one to stand with him, to give him support, for him to come out of whatever weakness he has. And if I really love someone, I will never, ever create a negative thought about that one. If my relationship is genuine, if my relationship and my love is sincere, then I will make it my duty to help the one I love. So the healing of the one I love begins with me. And healing myself also begins with me. And together, we can heal our relationships. Thank you. And Om Shanti.
Join us globally every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Sankhya Television as Parental Alienation Awareness International Network, PAIN, presents Ambassador Extraordinaire Brahma Kumari's Sister Silverine Manguru with the series From Pain to Healing.
This program is sponsored by Sampex Limited, networking societies for a better future.